Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Let's dive into a story that's been buzzing around the NFL circles and has Steelers fans buzzing with anticipation. It's about a potential move that could shake up the entire AFC North. We're talking about a bold prediction that could redefine the Steelers' offensive possibilities for the upcoming season. It all centers around veteran wide receiver Brandin Cooks, a player whose name has come up in some intriguing trade discussions, and the implications of him potentially wearing the black and gold. You see, the Steelers, as we all know, have already made some adjustments to their initial 53-man roster. They've signed and cut a few players, trying to find that perfect combination of talent, versatility, and grit needed to contend in a tough AFC. But what if I told you that the biggest move is still on the horizon? That the Steelers might make a trade that not only boosts their wide receiver core, but also signals their serious intent to contend for another Super Bowl. That's the kind of bold move we're talking about. And it's coming from none other than Moe Matan of Bleacher Report, who's been keeping a close eye on NFL teams, strategies, and potential trades. Moe recently predicted that the Steelers could make a big splash before the start of the 2025 NFL season, and his boldest prediction involves acquiring Brandin Cooks from the New Orleans Saints. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Cooks is a seasoned veteran, a guy with a lot of mileage on those legs, and he's been through a few ups and downs lately. But let's take a closer look at what this could mean, not just for the Steelers, but for the entire AFC North. Cooks, who's now in his 12th NFL season, has been a consistently productive receiver throughout his career, even if his production dipped last year. He started out with the Saints, where he made his mark early on, posting back-to-back 1-0-yard receiving seasons during his first stint in New Orleans. That's no small feat, especially considering how competitive the league is and how much attention defenses paid to him. After his time with the Saints, Cooks also played for the New England Patriots, Los Angeles Rams, and Houston Texans, always bringing his speed and playmaking ability to the field. Last season, with the Dallas Cowboys, Cooks caught 26 passes for 259 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not a banner year, but remember, he missed 7 games due to a knee injury. That injury significantly impacted his stats, and it's fair to say that some of the best years are behind him. But here's the thing, Cooks is still an incredibly dangerous receiver when healthy. His career average, over 76 catches for more than 1-0 yards per season, shows that when he's on the field, he can be a game changer. And for a team like the Steelers, who are looking to add firepower to their offense, especially with quarterback Aaron Rodgers now leading the way, Cooks could be a valuable asset. Now, let's talk about the fit. Right now, the Steelers have DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson, Scotty Miller, and Ben Skowronek on their roster. Calvin Austin, in particular, made some impressive strides last season as a big play receiver. But as much as fans love Austin's potential, there's always speculation about whether adding a veteran like Cooks could give the offense that extra edge. Cooks, with his experience and reliability, could serve as a chain mover for Rodgers, providing consistent separation and making those crucial third-down catches. And here's where it gets interesting. Moe Matan suggests that the Steelers could acquire Cooks for a 2026 fifth-round draft pick. That's a relatively low cost for a player with Cooks' experience, especially considering the NFL's current trade market. It's a gamble, no doubt, but one that could pay off if Cooks stays healthy and regains some of his past form. The key question, though, is whether this move makes the Steelers better overall. Some pundits have already weighed in, pointing out that Cooks might not be the number 2 receiver the team needs, especially if Calvin Austin continues to develop. Austin had more yards per game last season than Cooks, which is an important stat to consider. If the Steelers add Cooks, it could potentially block Wilson from getting the opportunities he needs to grow. That's a concern, especially since Wilson is a third-round pick with a lot of upside. The last thing the Steelers want is to stifle the development of their young talent, even if Cooks can bring some immediate veteran presence. Furthermore, it's worth noting that the Steelers are reportedly not actively pursuing any wide receivers in free agency or through trades right now, according to insider Mark Kaboly. This suggests that the team is comfortable with their current roster, or at least will go into the season with what they have. But that doesn't mean the door is completely closed on a trade, especially if the right opportunity presents itself. Cooks, with his low cost and potential upside, remains a very intriguing option. The question is, would adding Cooks really move the needle for Pittsburgh? Would he be the second-best receiver on the team? Well, some stats say otherwise. Calvin Austin averaged more yards per game last season, which points to his potential as a playmaker. So, acquiring Cooks might be a move to add depth and veteran leadership rather than a guaranteed starter. And that's an important distinction because the Steelers' philosophy has always been about building a cohesive unit, not just loading up with big names. Now, let's also consider the division rivals. The AFC North is a battleground, and every move the Steelers make could have ripple effects. With the Ravens and Bengals always in the hunt, and teams like Cleveland trying to find their offensive rhythm, Pittsburgh needs to be bold if they want to stay ahead. Adding a veteran receiver like Cooks could be part of that strategy, providing Rodgers with a reliable target who's seen it all and can deliver in clutch moments. Of course, all of this hinges on whether the Steelers are willing to part with that fifth-round pick in 2026. It's a small price, but in the NFL, every draft pick is a gamble. Still, if Cooks can stay healthy and rediscover some of his old magic, the reward could be significant. It could give Pittsburgh that extra dimension on offense that's been missing at times last season. Remember, last year's offense was good at times, but inconsistent, especially in the passing game. Adding a seasoned veteran like Cooks might help stabilize that and give Rodgers a proven chain mover. But let's not forget the bigger picture. Pittsburgh's core, led by head coach Mike Tomlin, has always been about resilience, discipline, and strategic flexibility. They've shown over the years that they're not afraid to make bold moves if it's the right fit. And with a talented quarterback like Rodgers now under center, the team's offensive approach could see some exciting evolutions. Plus, the Steelers' front office, led by GM Omar Khan, has demonstrated a willingness to make smart, cost-effective moves, which makes the potential trade for Cooks even more plausible. So, as we look ahead to the season, what does this mean for Steelers fans? Well, it's about hope, about the possibility of a new weapon emerging on offense that can help push the team further into the playoffs. It's about the excitement of watching your team adapt and grow, making bold decisions that could pay off big time in the long run. Of course, nothing is guaranteed, and the NFL is unpredictable, but the idea of adding a veteran like Cooks certainly adds a layer of intrigue to what's shaping up to be an interesting season for Pittsburgh. And of course, this all feeds into the larger narrative of the AFC North. The division is always competitive, with each team looking to outsmart and outplay the others. A move like this, if it happens, could tilt the scales in Pittsburgh's favor, giving them a little extra edge against divisional foes. And for fans, that's what it's all about: the thrill of the chase, the hope of a deep playoff run, and the pride of supporting a team that's always aiming higher. Now, I want to hear from you, Steelers fans. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think adding Cooks would make a real difference? Or do you believe the team should stick with the current roster and focus on developing their young talent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion really matters to us and to the Steelers. We're all in this together, rooting for the black and gold to rise once again. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and everything you need to stay ahead of the game. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep this Steelers spirit alive. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news.